What's up, guys? Adam Green here with No More News. Thank you all for joining me today, Monday, March 17th, 2025. We may be looking at war with Iran. Trump is threatening Iran and striking Yemen. We'll discuss that briefly. We've got some Rabbi Yeshua HaMashiach. Moshiach is King of the Jews t-shirts I was inspired to make. Mock-up mockeries is what they are. Not actually going to sell these. Unless the Christians want to buy them. But I'll explain to you why I was inspired to make those. As well as we got some Conspiracy Against Europe compilation that See Through It All put together. And also a compilation from John Garadis as well that I didn't cover on a previous show. As well as some other news. Wouldn't be possible without you guys and your support. Your super chats through Odysee really add to the show and make the stream possible. As well as the Rumble rants over on Rumble. We're also streaming on BitChute as well. And on X, of course. Or you can go over to nomorenews.org. And while they're still left, get the new marmalade orange Donald Trump They Live No More News shirt, high quality shirt, as well as the red Valknut Runes Viking shirt. There's still a few more of those left. And then I'm going to do a new order of shirts, not these ones, although this is more of a taking a shot at grifters and Christians. Tribute to Goyshiak already. ABX89 for 50. Thank you, ABX89. Whoa. Way to get us off going strong. Thank you so much, ABX89. You're amazing. Incredible. Thank you for that tribute. Yeah, the next shirt will be black. Vintage, off black, or maybe this gray one that's in the thumbnail. Okay, first story. Trump already starting wars for Israel. Trump said any shot fired by the Houthis will be considered as won by Iran. So my understanding is that the Houthi rebels of Yemen are attacking ships. They're attacking ships because of what America's doing to Israel, and now we're attacking them. So this all has to do with Israel, of course. Oh, before we do that, let's read the tweet. Trump wrote on his Truth Social, "Let nobody be fooled. The hundreds of attacks made by the Houthi, the sinister mobsters and thugs based in Yemen, who are hated by the Yemeni people, all emanate from and are created by Iran. Another further attack or retaliation by the Houthis will be met with great force, and there is no guarantee that force will stop there. Iran has played the innocent victim." Yeah. Speaking of playing the innocent victim, Israel, Jews, Iran has played the innocent victim of rogue terrorists from which they've lost control, but they haven't lost control. They're dictating every move, giving them the weapons, supplying them with money and highly sophisticated military equipment, and even so-called intelligence. That's funny, so-called intelligence. Yeah, the Iran war predicted, just like I've been saying. Now it looks like we're here. Every shot fired by the Houthis will be looked upon from this point forward as being a shot fired from the weapons and leadership of Iran, in all caps. And Iran, in all caps, will be held responsible, and the consequences will be dire. So huge threats to Gaza. They don't release all the hostages. Huge threats to Iran now if the Houthis even retaliate from the strikes. Israel's licking their chops. So yeah, Trump returns to power with his God, King, Emperor, Zion, Don, Zionist Congress. He's attacking anti-Semitism. Still hasn't released the JFK or the Epstein files, although he claims that they're coming tomorrow. One more day. And looks like we're going to have a war with Iran. Very likely. Let's see what they're saying over on
Missiles, radar, drones. ABC News that U.S. air and naval assets hit dozens of Houthi targets in Yemen, including missiles, radar, drones, and air defense systems. The airstrikes were carried out by fighter jets in the northern Red Sea, this less than 2 weeks after the president signed an executive order redesignating the Houthis a foreign terrorist organization. For more now, let's bring in ABC News contributor and former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for the Middle East, Mick Mulroy, and ABC's Perry Russum from our Washington bureau. Mick, I want to start with you. What's the latest on these strikes as we hear one U.S. official telling our Pentagon reporter that the administration is characterizing today's attacks as an opening shot against the Houthis and also sending a strong message to Iran?
That's right, Morgan. I think many expected this. The Trump administration had signaled that they were going to take a much heavier hand against the Houthis from their attacks on commercial vessels in the Red Sea and also U.S. military assets. And I think today was that substantial attack. Dozens and dozens of targets hit, as you mentioned, by F-18s, specifically coming off the USS Harry Truman. And I think this was also, as you mentioned, a signal to the Iranians. They're trying to get them to come to the table to talk about potentially a new agreement on nuclear weapons, and they haven't shown any interest. So this might be both, one, to mitigate the threat from the Houthis and also to send that message.
And Mick, let's put a pin on that and let's go to Perry really quickly, because President Trump now posting on his social media platform a message to the Houthis warning that if the attacks don't stop, quote, hell will rain down on you like nothing you have seen before. What are you hearing on that front?
Yes. The way Trump's threats are always like hellfire and brimstone. What did he tell a Rocket Man? Fire and fury like nobody has ever seen. Or then he threatened Gaza and he said like all hell is going to break loose. We're going to drop hell on you, something like that.
Strong words from President Trump, not just for the Houthis, but Iran as well, with Trump saying their support for the Houthi terrorists must end immediately, saying if they do not, America will hold you accountable. Then back to the Houthis, Trump says the U.S. will use overwhelming lethal force until we have achieved our objective, which leads to the question of how long these attacks will go on, Morgan.
Well, Mick, to Perry's point, tell us what you know about the Houthis' threats in recent days to resume targeting ships related to Israel in the Red Sea, as we've seen after Israel continued to block aid in Gaza. We know that there have been more than 100 attacks on vessels in the Red Sea since the October 7th attack, and this is one of the busiest shipping lanes in the world. I mean, kind of put it in perspective for us. What's at stake here?
Sure, yes. So the Houthis do claim it's in response to the recent issues in Gaza, but I can point out that even before the war started in Gaza, the Houthis were doing many of these same things. It's just now grown very intense. And a lot of the world's energy, about 40%, comes out of this region, mostly going to the Indo-Pacific. So this is something that the world should care about because it seriously disrupts commercial traffic, which of course is how we carry energy around the world.
And Mick, we know that you'll be following this pretty closely. Perry, while I have you, I want to turn to President Trump because he signed some executive orders last night seeking to eliminate 7 federal agencies. What more do we know about that?
What? Yeah, so we got rid of several government groups. They include the U.S. Interagency Council on Homelessness and the Institute for Museum and Library Services. He also undid some President Biden mandates, including one for solar panels and another one that raised the minimum wage to $15 an hour for federal contractors. But there are some questions about the legality of all of this, questions about what he can actually cut and not cut, Morgan.
Absolutely. Mick Mulroy and Perry Russum, thank you both.
Okay. So there's the Trump threats. Oh, what? Now we're talking Iranian threat? What is this story?
Threats to ships transiting the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden have affected global security and commerce. Is Ian Ralby. He's the founder and CEO of IR Consilium and an expert on maritime issues. Ian, thanks so much for joining us. Let's start with how these attacks have really changed how container ship owners move goods.
Okay, no thanks. Trump also in a CNN interview says Islam hates us. Do you agree with him? Sorta. I wouldn't say that they hate us. I think a lot of the hatred that Islamic countries have for America is our slavish obedience to Israel and what they've done to Gaza. But I don't think the hate is anywhere near as much as the rabbis hate us. Although they also use us as their useful idiots.
Of people.
Do you think Islam is at war with the West?
I think Islam hates us.
Is Judaism at war with the West? Excuse me, Trump. Does Judaism want to destroy the West and call it Edom prophecies? Excuse me, Trump, have you seen all the prophecies of all the hundreds of rabbis on the internet talking about destroying Europe and America to fulfill their anti-Edom prophecies? How come that question doesn't get asked? I wonder.
There's something.
Do you think Islam is at war with the West?
I think Islam hates us. There's something there that there's a tremendous hatred there. There's a tremendous hatred
for our
We have to get to
freedoms.
the bottom of it. There is an unbelievable hatred of us.
In Islam itself?
You're going to have to figure that out. Okay.
And then it's crazy, like all the rabbis everywhere, destroy Edom. Edom must be destroyed. And then somehow our Christian government says they're our greatest allies. Complete inversion. Complete clown world.
Okay, you'll get another Pulitzer, right? But you're going to have to figure that out. But there is a tremendous hatred, and we have to be very vigilant. We have to be very careful, and we can't allow people coming into this country who have this hatred of the United States.
I guess the question is,
and of people that are not Muslim.
I guess the question is,
Yeah, I'm sure he's deporting foreigners for being anti-American. No, he's only deporting foreigners that are protesting against Israel.
is there a war between the West and radical Islam, or is there a war between the West and Islam
It's
itself?
radical, but it's very hard to define. It's very hard to separate because you don't know who's.
Do you think Islam is at war with the West?
Apply that to Judaism. I always say, like, moderate religion runs cover for the extremist religion. Here's Trump apparently in his months ago before the election with his Tim Pool interview. He asked him about Yemen, apparently. Let's hear what he said. Let's hear how this aged. I'm guessing not well.
I look at your policies, I see secure the borders, bring.
Hey, thank you, John, for the $5 challenge. $5 shekel. Sorry, $5 shekel. 5 shekel challenge.
I look at your policies, I see secure the borders, bring jobs back. I look at the Democrats and many Republicans, and it's foreign war and foreign expansion.
That's right.
What is that?
I think it's just a failed mentality. It's crazy. You can solve problems over a telephone. Instead, they start dropping bombs. I see recently they're dropping bombs all over Yemen. You don't have to do that. You can talk in such a way where they respect you and they listen to you. Viktor Orban of Hungary, you know, the leader, they call him a strong man. Who cares if he's a strong man or not a strong man? He's a very powerful guy. He said the problem the world has is that Donald Trump is no longer president. When he was president, China didn't play around, Russia didn't play around.
Oh, you mean like the pro-Putin Zionists?
Nobody played around, and we had no problems. Today, the whole world is on fire.
I heard that. I look at your policy.
And now Yemen's on fire because he claimed we didn't have to drop bombs, but now he's dropping bombs and threatening World War III with Iran. Isn't that nice? Imagine that. Already flip-flopping from the campaign promises. Besides Israel, when it's about Israel or anti-Semitism, he's all about promises made, promises kept. Haven't watched this one yet, but it's got 2 million views and 45,000 likes. I'm usually not a fan of Bill Burr, but apparently he's ripping into Israeli war crimes in his new stand-up special.
Human shields. Yeah, I'm not allowed to do that, but it's still socially acceptable to shoot a missile in the general direction of somebody you're upset with. You're like, dude, there was like kids over there. This is my favorite response. Well, you know, they're using kids as human shields. It's like, well, you got to work around that. Jesus Christ, if I'm mad at my neighbor and I want to beat the shit out of him, but he's holding a baby, right? I wouldn't come in and try to punch him through the baby. Yeah, you go in, you know, you throw a hook, you sweep the legs. You do it on the lawn so the baby bounces off the grass, all right? There's fucking rules to this shit. Yeah, I'm not allowed to do that, but it's still socially acceptable.
That's the outrage. Apparently the Zionists are outraged about this. Trump gives update on Epstein files, says they're going to be released. This is yesterday. There's another statement, too, of him today. We'll see.
That she wanted. A lot of intrigue surrounding the release of the Epstein files, Martin Luther King files, John F. Kennedy files. Some current and former FBI agents are saying, some of them telling me, that they feel the FBI establishment came out ahead in the standoff sort of with the New York FBI field office over releasing the records, and your Attorney General Pam Bondi demanding them but not getting all that she wanted. Is that process still on track? I think that's one of the most often questions I've been asked the last couple of days, to release these records on Epstein, MLK, and JFK.
Well, Pam Bondi's done a phenomenal job in every respect. And
even handed out the binders to the Zionist MAGA influencers. Was that a tremendous job in every respect? She's hasn't got the Epstein files out, and let's not like when she does, it's going to be anything important. But she's opening up anti-Semitism investigations in UCLA and Columbia University, and she's heading up the anti-Christian Zionist task force. I'm sure that's going to be lovely.
there could have been some holdback. I haven't heard too much about it, but they could. But the bottom line is the records are getting out. The Kennedy records are getting out. Those are the ones I really wanted to see the most, were the Kennedys. And during my administration, as you know, I released a lot of them, but then a lot of people started coming in, people that I respected, people that worked for the administration, asked me not to release the rest. And I respected that. They gave me certain reasons, but I respected that. And I did say, I must tell you, I said that probably wish I did release the whole thing, because I have no idea what's in there. But since then they found, and we found 2,000 more documents on Kennedy. And the one they want most is Kennedy, and it's going to be released. It's moving along, and it's moving along pretty rapidly. It doesn't go that rapidly.
Weeks maybe, or longer?
I say weeks. Yeah, I say weeks.
What? I wonder why it's taking so long if they're not redacting anything like they claim. He said this is today now. He says they're coming out tomorrow.
We are tomorrow announcing and giving all of the Kennedy files. So people have been waiting for decades for this, and I've instructed my people that are responsible, lots of different people, put together by Tulsi Gabbard, and that's going to be released tomorrow. We are tomorrow announcing, and
that should be interesting. Wonder how that's going to go. Now, do I have the... Oh, I don't have the screenshot of it. Trump did a whole nother True Social post about how Biden did the pardons for people who were investigating Trump, preemptive pardons, so Trump couldn't go retaliate against the people that were politically targeting him. And now Trump put out a tweet saying that that's invalid, and they're going to go after all the people anyway. And they're claiming that Biden signed all of those with an automatic signature and that he didn't do it and he wasn't aware. I'll look for that in a second while we play this question.
Possibly even the pardons, and without his...
Lindell TV, Asian lady with a Christian cross. Let's hear this.
Sure, good to see you. Press Secretary, many are concerned about the validity of President Biden's official actions and also his pardons of the possible criminal actions of individuals such as his family members and Liz Cheney, as information's emerging that many of his official actions were auto-signed, possibly even the pardons, and without his knowledge or consent. Does the White House have any information available currently that Biden was actually the one that approved and signed those pardons? And second question, will the DOJ investigate whether President Biden's cognitive decline allowed unelected staff to push through radical policy and pardons without his known approval?
I don't know the answer to that question, but I can check in with our folks here who may know the answer to that question and get back to you. Sure, good to see you.
Thank you, John. Chipped in another 5 shekels. You took up your own challenge. Here's what Trump wrote. The quote-unquote pardons that sleepy Joe Biden gave to the unselected committee of political thugs and many others are hereby declared void. Dude, he's declaring things like a dictator. I hereby declare void, null and void, he should have said, vacant and of no further force or effect, in all caps, because of the fact that they were done by auto pen. In other words, Joe Biden did not sign them, but more importantly, he did not know anything about them. What if Biden comes out and says he did know about them? The necessary pardoning documents were not explained to or approved by Biden. Is Biden going to corroborate this story? He knew nothing about them, and the people that did may have committed a crime. Therefore, those on the unselect committee who destroyed and deleted all evidence obtained during their 2-year witch hunt of me and many other innocent people should fully understand that they are subject to investigation. Remember, Trump promised retribution and vengeance, and now he keeps talking about in his joint aggressive Congress, he talked about how he's got the mandate, a mandate like nobody's ever had before. The fact is they were probably responsible for the documents that were signed on their behalf without the knowledge or consent of the worst president in the history of our country, crooked Joe Biden. Every single chance he gets to call Biden the worst in history. So this is all the different pardons. They're putting them together and they all line up exactly perfectly. That is pretty sus. And look, they are all exactly the same. Just because they're exactly the same, though, who is to say Biden's just not very good at his signature anymore? He's got an old, shaky, old man hand or something. So he's using a tool. But all Biden's got to do, even if he didn't know about it, Biden's just got to come out and say, no, I did know about it. Yeah, they used an auto signature device, but he knew about it. And it's like, okay, go to chat. Go to court, I mean. Okay, is this? Elon Musk says the U.S. government operates magic money computers that send money out of nothing. You mean like the Federal Reserve? They're still supposedly going to Fort Knox to see if there's any gold there too?
Computer.
One of the things you told me about is what you call magic money computers at the Treasury. So tell us about it, because I never heard of that until you brought that up.
Okay, so you may think that that the government computers like all talk to each other, they synchronize, they add up what funds are going somewhere, and it's it's coherent. There's and that the numbers, for example, that you're presented as a senator, are actually the real numbers.
One would think.
They're not.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, they're not totally wrong, but they're probably off by 5% or 10% in some cases. So I call a magic money computer any computer which can just make money out of thin air. That's magic money.
So how does that work?
It just issues payments.
And you said there's something like 11 of these computers at Treasury that are sending out trillions in payments?
They're mostly at Treasury. Some are, but there's some at HHS, there's one or two at State, there's some at DOD.
They're all printing fake money? Creating fake digits, fake currency on computers, not just the Federal Reserve? What's going on here?
I think we found now 14 magic money computers.
14, okay.
They just send money out of nothing.
Interesting. Oh, it's St. Patrick's Day. My wife put some green glitter in the toilet. Weird, I know. Pretended, for our 4-year-old daughter, pretended that a leprechaun came and visited. We read her a book, a bedtime story book, where there's a leprechaun and they're trying to catch him, and she used chalk to draw a rainbow outside on the patio. My daughter thinks that we were visited by a secret leprechaun. Oh, and there was some golden coins. But screw St. Patrick, trying to convert Ireland to Jewish mythology and a Jewish religion. So I don't celebrate. Although I do like to eat. We're having the traditional corned beef, St. Patrick's Day corned beef. In fact, it's been on the slow cooker all day and it smells delicious. And I haven't eaten all day. And that's what I'm having when I'm done with this. And I am part Irish. Eyes to See says weed is green and I'm about to smoke some. So there. Fair. No green shirt. I don't own a green beer was fun back when I still drank. Oh, yeah. I was at a birthday party last night and had one too many beers and had a headache. Corned beef. Yes. Yes, I'm lucky, Volkish Spirit. It's the best. All right, here's Conor McGregor, UFC fighter, talking about how some cities in Ireland in like one day, in one swoop, have been completely, so many immigrants have been brought in that Irish people become the minority overnight.
Nothing to do with the Irish people. The illegal immigration racket is...
And you can tell how personal this is to him.
What is going on in Ireland is a travesty. Our government is the government of zero action with zero accountability. You know, our money is being spent on overseas issues that has nothing to do with the Irish people.
Oh, they're acting all right. The actions they're taking are to replace and vilify and demonize the indigenous people of Ireland.
Our money is being spent on overseas issues that has nothing to do with the Irish people. The illegal immigration racket is running ravage on the country. There are rural towns in Ireland that have been overrun in one swoop, that have become a minority in one swoop. So issues need to be addressed, and the 40 million Irish Americans, as I said, need to hear this, because...
I hear you, mate.
There will be no place to come home and visit.
I want to go and visit the homeland. I want to go and visit my holy land. I went to England a couple of years ago, 2 years ago now, and I want to go to Ireland too. I'm trying to remember, what is the latest? It said I used to be more Irish, but then it updated, and I think it said I was less and more German. Okay, there's one more too we have here of Conor McGregor. Okay, come on, we're freezing up now.
I can throw jabs handily at them. However, every available metric available to us has shown that the government of Ireland currently has failed the people of Ireland. In 10 years, Dublin city centre has gone from one of the most safest cities in Europe to one of the most dangerous. So shame on him for saying that, speaking down on an Irishman. I won't speak about him personally. Throw a jab, I could throw many jabs at them. I could throw jabs handily at them. However, I speak on the metrics, and the metrics show they've failed the people of Ireland. They do not represent the people of Ireland.
Conor,
and I'm
what
here.
do you say to people who feel it's...
Is this his introduction? Is this his coming out? He's going to try to run for prime minister or president of Ireland? And he's going to be backed by Elon and MAGA and Trump? Is that what we're going to see? He looks like one of those drunk Irish guys you would see drunk in a bar fight. Yeah, that's what he is. Drunken Irish boxer. Dominic Buscemi for 5 says challenge accepted. Thank you. I'm glad somebody liked to accept the challenge, the $5 shekel. $5 shekel challenge that John put up there.
It's inappropriate for you to be here, given...
God bless Ireland. God bless America.
Is it inappropriate? What was he going to ask? Why did he run away? Nice suit. He's always got the best suits. Okay, this is funny. So this account on Twitter named Captive Dreamer, who a couple weeks ago I called him out on a tweet that he was shilling for Trump. I said, how did this age? He said, Trump is already buck-breaking BB. Fighting Irish. So this account, Captive Dreamer, if you guys are on Twitter, you may have known him. He's the guy from Waco with a MAGA hat on, and apparently he got doxxed somehow, and so they connected him. His father is the president of a Christian Zionist school, Trinity Western University, and now his dad has come out, Captive Zionist. Yeah, all these... Now his dad, who's the president of a Zionist university, comes out to disavow his son, and the memes and the anti-Semitism, although he's a huge Zionist shill, still out here getting condemned by his daddy and by real Christians.
Today, I want to make something crystal clear, regardless of its source.
Like, you think you think that you're terminally online, crusader, internet Christians that act like they're the real Christians, and they're based and they're anti-Jewish and they're pro-white and pro-nationalism and all this shit. You guys get just mogged by the presidents of all the universities and all the mega churches. Reminds me of Candace and her father-in-law. It's the same play. Good point. Candace Owens' father-in-law is also a Zionist and came out and condemned him. You can't even win over Christians. The anti-Jewish Christians and Muslims, you can't even win over, I shouldn't even mention Muslims. You can't even win over Christians. All you do is make most Christians come out and simp harder for Jews and have more sympathy for Jews. You turn away all normal people that are non-believers with your Christian kookery. You become discredited villains. You gain sympathy for Jews. You discredit the opposition, and then they all come out and grandstand against you, shielding the Jews. So the crusaders asleep at the wheel. So most Christians aren't controlled opposition. They're just controlled allies. They're brainwashed accomplices and allies and their biggest supporters. And then the fringe minority of anti-Jewish Christians also are the shield. They shield Judaism and Zionism with their lies, with their fake talking points, with their disinformation.
Today, I want to make something crystal clear. Regardless of its source, I have always and will continue to stand against racism in every form. I reject white supremacy and any ideology that elevates one group of people over another.
Dude, his dad is coming out to condemn him for his tweets online. And all of these Christians online, you try to take any of your talking points into any church in the world and you get thrown out. You would be thrown out and condemned so fast, just like the bishops, the U.S. Catholic bishops condemned Nick Fuentes in the Groyper. And the guy debated on iHypocrite a couple weeks ago. He got excommunicated from his church. And Brother Nathaniel is getting attacked by the Orthodox Church. The Orthodox Christians are coming out even to condemn Jay Dyer and Andrew Wilson, even though they're not even very critical of Jews. Can't even win over their own families. Condemned by their own families. And you think this is the path forward? No, this is how we're guaranteed to lose.
I denounce the use of derogatory and disparaging labels and language and any attempts to dehumanize another individual or group. I strongly oppose the use of social media as a means of spreading such harmful ideas. And I do this not just because it's the right thing to do, but because it is what God expects of us and how His Spirit compels us to live.
Any of these online Christians, try to go into any church in the world and say Jesus isn't Jewish and see how long you last before you get laughed out of there and thrown out and censured and condemned. And then all the establishment and all the big churches call you the heretic and you not the real Christian and condemn you and double down in their servitude of God's chosen people. That's what happens. And that's why this isn't the path forward. We need to be realistic. All of these failed talking points, how long have they been failing for? None of these are new. All of these copes. And what has it done? Empowered Zionism even more.
Ephesians 2 gives us a powerful reminder of who we are in Christ. The Apostle Paul speaks to a divided world, Jews and Gentiles, two groups that saw each other as enemies. But Paul declares something radical. Jesus has destroyed the barrier that separates us.
We're all the same, all one in Rabbi Yeshua, all the Goyim worshiping the King of the Jews and the Jewish Messiah together. Isn't it beautiful?
Quote, "For he himself is our peace, who has made the two groups one and has destroyed the barrier."
Oh, I wanted to hear even more. Why'd they cut it off? Destroyed the barrier, huh? Oh, here he is, Captive Dreamer. Of course, he's attacking his dead brother. Oh, that's nice. The way these Christians act, too, it's like They act like they're the moral ones and we're all evil and satanic and going to hell, and they just act like deranged demons. Lying, deranged demons. Captive con man. This meme, nice meme here by Christians Posting Cole, how Christianity has controlled opposition. So this reminded me of another meme that one of you guys created, and I went to my bookmarks of all of my Christian memes, and there were so many accounts that were missing and gone. I wish I had screenshots of on all of them. Somebody made a really good meme where it's like normal NPCs walking up to some people, and it goes like, oh, tell me more about this conspiracy. And they go, the Jews killed Jesus. They drink baby blood. They're the synagogue of Satan. Jesus wasn't Jewish. We're the real Jews. And they go, okay, you guys are crazy. And they walk away. If anybody has that meme, either DM me or post it and tag me or something, because I need that. But here's another perfect example. So we got the masses of the bell curve here in the middle, the average people. They see these kooky internet Christians that say Jews are satanic. They killed God. They worship the devil. Jesus wasn't Jewish. And they go, you guys are retarded. And they go, you guys call everything satanic, and Jews are innocent victims, and they have sympathy for Jews. And they think, wow, those people that talk about Jews really are insane. Thank you, Conspiracy Truther. Please post it. I need to have that saved. So the high IQ pagans are over here saying Judaism is evil, it's fake and Jewish, prophecy's fake, there's no covenants, and they're using religion to manipulate you and politics. And we get ignored, and everybody focuses on the Christ is King kooks and the controlled opposition. And that's exactly how it plays out. I wish I had the other meme. Maybe it's in here. Somebody else posted it? No. So, simple way to illustrate the game that's being played. Garrett Masterpiece McCluskey says, Jesus destroyed genetics, yet somehow 2,000 years later, the IQ gap persists. Okay, since you said Jesus, Garrett, I'm going to tell you guys a funny story. I was wearing one of my No More News shirts the other day. My daughter's learning about No More News. So she points to my shirt and she says, no more news. And I go, yeah, that's right. And she says, Daddy, your show is Jewish. That's what my 4-year-old daughter tells me. Daddy, your show's Jewish. It made me laugh so hard. My wife basically spit up her drink. And it's obvious because I say Jewish all the time. And then I laughed. And then I said, what do I talk about on my show? I tried to get her to say it again. And then she says, you talk about Jewsus. So she said Jew and Jesus. Burned, dude. I'm getting burned and mogged. BTFO'd by my 4-year-old daughter. So my show is Jewish. We have a code word for Jewish with our daughter. That's funny. But funny story for the Jewsus. And then she didn't say Jesus, she said Jewsus. She's learning fast, yeah. Yeah, exposing the Jews. My dear, my Viking princess. That's great. It made me laugh so hard. New clip from See Through It All. Dennis Prager talking about it. You know, this is the top Zionist in America, talking about how much he loves Christians.
I am one of the biggest defenders of Christmas in the United States of America. If my neighbor, I am one.
Yeah, she clearly said it because she just hears me say Jewish, the word Jewish, all the time.
One of the biggest defenders of Christmas in the United States of America. If my nation celebrates a holiday, I'm a member of that nation. That's all that I need to know. Number two, the vast majority of my co-citizens, although unfortunately that is diminishing, have been Christian all of American history. They have given me the best and most pro-Jewish country in Jewish history.
Thanks, Christians. Thanks, Christians.
Welcome to the real world.
What has Christianity given the Jews?
That's all that I need to know. Number two, the vast majority of my co-citizens, although unfortunately that is diminishing, have been Christian all of American history. They have given me the best and most pro-Jewish country in Jewish history.
Yes. Oh, there's nothing they hate more. Nothing they hate more, right? Ow. Nothing they hate more. No, it's made the most philo-Semitic and Israel-serving country in history. There you go. More that they'll ignore.
Are you not entertained?
Diminishing equals noticing.
Why would I not want to celebrate their biggest holiday? So it is a non-issue. If you're a non-Jew and you dismiss anti-Semitism as the Jews' problem, you're a fool. You are committing suicide. If the West had not dismissed Hitler,
committing suicide, huh?
And the Nazis as the Jews' problem, about 60 million non-Jews would have lived. Right. Even if you don't like Jews, and I mean this literally, even if you don't like Jews, and there are many Jews I don't like, so you don't even have to feel guilty. It doesn't matter to me if you like Jews. It matters, two things matter to me. One, that you understand you're next. That is the rule of anti-Semitism. It is a hatred of God. It is a hatred of Judeo-Christian values. It is a hatred of the Bible. It is a hatred of...
So, Christian anti-Semites, after they attack Jews, they're going to attack themselves? You're next? Is that what that means? Or does he mean like he's telling Christians, you better help the Jews against the Muslims, otherwise the Muslims are going to attack you? That's probably what he's leaning towards.
The West. Period. End of issue. Hamas hates all of that. Okay? Yeah. And Hitler hated all of that. The one thing that is unique about anti-Semitism, it's exterminationist. The anti-Semite wants to eradicate all Jews.
Oh, come on. So any criticism of Jews, they say, is anti-Semitism. And they always say that means it's another show, it's another Holocaust. Opposing, criticizing rabbis, criticizing Judaism. I know, projection much, huh, Hork Supreme? Any criticism is extermination. You want to exterminate us. Hey, you don't want to be our slaves? What do you want to exterminate us? Really?
About anti-Semitism. It's exterminationist. The anti-Semite wants to eradicate all Jews. And that's the uniqueness of anti-Semitism.
Dennis, we have to talk about, I mean, first of all, that's staggering, and I think, unfortunately, that's correct. But
meanwhile, what is the truth? What do the rabbis say about Edom? That they're actually genocidal. And then they project it onto anybody that opposes them. Even the Christians, even the craziest of the Christians, they don't want to genocide them. They want Jesus to come and force them to convert or get thrown in the lake of fire, which is basically what the rabbis are waiting for. The Moshiach to come and everybody's going to convert to Noahides or your capital punishment.
Let's explore the why. In other words, the idea, when you just said, I just think it's important to say that hatred of the Jews, to my mind, and I think to your mind, you just said it, is a hatred of the God of the Jews. In other words, it's not simple tribalism, right?
Hating Jews is hating God. And that's why we have so many Shabbos Goys, because all the Christians believe in the Jewish God. Simple as that.
As you just said, there is tribalism. There people hate other people in groups. But there's something different here. You said it's a hatred of God. I agree it's a hatred of God. I would say, because it's at its heart a spirit.
Yeah, it's be subservient to their fake Jewish God. Otherwise, you're an evil Amalekite. You hate God. They say that if you hate Yahweh, you are Amalek. So that's what they're doing right now. Amalek wants to exterminate the Jews, right? That's what they say. So that's what all this is. They might as well even use the term Amalek.
You said it's a hatred of God. I agree it's a hatred of God. I would say, because it's at its heart a spiritual issue, it becomes, in other words, if you hate God, it becomes a love of hatred.
So you're so evil. Right, Hork Supreme. Hating Jews equals hating God. So Jews are God. They're God's chosen people. They're the prophets of God that wrote down God's supposed plan.
Becomes a worship of hatred. In other words, it has what I can't help but think of as demonic roots. It doesn't make any kind of rational sense. But is that how you see it?
Demons.
That's exactly how I see it, because that's exactly what it is. It's not even how do I see it. That's the fact.
They hate the religion and they blame the Jews in a sense.
They stuck it on them.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's what that's my problem.
Our God, it's a lot. Our apostles. Yeah. If we don't fight,
look at this.
Roots. It doesn't make any kind of rational sense. But is that how you
see what they say? You're demonic, just like the Jews do. You're anti-Semitic if you criticize Judaism. And the Christians say you're antichrist if you criticize Christianity. You believe in Jesus or you're demonic. You believe in Moshiach and God's chosen people, you're demonic. Same exact tricks.
See it?
That's exactly how I see it, because that's exactly what it is. It's not even how do I see it. That's the fact.
They hate the religion and they blame the Jews in a sense.
They stuck it on them.
Yeah.
That's right. You give us our Bible, our Messiah, our God. It's a lot. Our apostles. Yeah. If we don't fight anti-Semitism, America is doomed. That's a fact. By the way, you could be an atheist.
Edom will fall. Fight anti-Semitism or Edom will fall. And they're going to use all these controlled op Christian talking points to justify the destruction of Edom. The rug pull is coming. How much have I been right about? I'm going to be right about this, too.
I understand that. Not just because Genesis is correct. I will curse those who curse you and bless those who bless you. That happens to be a fact. When Spain kicked out the Jews in 1492, it was one of the greatest powers on earth. After 1492, people said, where is Spain? It went from gigantic to nothing overnight with its expulsion of the Jews in 1492, the same year Columbus. And some people believe he was a Marrano, a secret Jew. But it doesn't matter to me for other reasons. I don't care about what you are. I care if you're decent. It's the only distinction I make in human beings. But so I don't have a prediction, except I just know what has to be done. By the way, one word, because you raised it, it's critical. Anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. Okay, and this is really important. You cannot say every country on earth has a right to exist except the one Jewish one, but I'm not anti-Semitic. You're lying to yourself, okay? And people lie to themselves all the time.
The problem wasn't about having one Jewish state in the world. The problem is how you went about getting it. Slaughtering Palestinians, kicking them out of their villages, and they can never return. Because God gave you the land.
They're called leftists. There are 220 or so, 212 countries in the world, only one Jewish one the size of New Jersey. That's the only one that I want exterminated. But don't you dare say I'm anti-Jewish. Give me a break.
You seem to say, and I agree with you, that the existence of Israel, the existence of Jews in the world is God's design. This is not just, it's not just some, it's not some story, it's not some part of history. God's hand.
It's a story. No, it's not God. This is a Christian guy too, by the way. No, it's not God. It's just a story. The Jews made up a story. They're good at telling stories.
The existence of Jews in the world is God's design. This is not just, it's not just some, it's not some story, it's not some part of history. God's hand in history led to the creation of the Jews originally as a people, to their preservation through the centuries, to the creation of national Israel. So you have to have some sense that it's not a crapshoot, that somehow God's hand is involved in the future.
Yo, Alchematron for 100 over on Rumble. Awesome, bro. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby. Thank you. He says, how do I respond when people say I should not criticize the Jews because of Numbers 24:9? Those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse them will be cursed. You say that's Jewish bullshit. Their God's fake. God never said that. Some Jew made it up. That's how you do it. That's why the Christians have such a hard problem convincing Christians to, and that's just a retelling of Genesis 12:2, 12:3. So to answer your question, where is that question? How do I respond to people who say you don't care about their scriptures? Some Jew made it up. That's the answer. Oh, the Jew claims that God says that you can't criticize them? Yeah, okay. Bullshit detector. Say, God never said that. The Jews wrote it in a book. Oh, right. They'll be like, oh, here's how you respond. Oh, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse them will be cursed. You say, oh, where'd you learn that?
I read about it in a book.
Oh, a book written by who? Oh, them. Surprising. There's your answer. Is that what you mean, or am I misunderstanding? Thank you, Alchematron.
Of Israel and the Jews. So how do you see that? What's your eschatology?
Yes, I see that. I wrote that in a column a few weeks ago. It confirms my belief, which I didn't need confirmation.
I like that, televised lies. Christian apologetics is Jewish apologetics. Yeah, Christians uphold Jewish theological supremacy.
How do you see that? What's your eschatology?
Yes, I see that. I wrote that in a column a few weeks ago. It confirms my belief, which I didn't need confirmation. I do believe in Jewish chosenness. If I didn't believe in it, I would not have raised my children to be Jews. Because if you raise your children to be Jews, you are risking their or your grandchildren suffering because they're Jews. That evil focus on the Jews reconfirms for me the divine role of the Jews in history. Even
see, because they created Christianity, and Christianity blames Jews for killing God, it fulfills their prophecy of being hated, which makes them think they're chosen. They're hated so much that they must be chosen. Hated to be chosen. It's so sadistic. Pagan for Life for 25 says, howdy from El Paso, Texas. I'm not a Jew. Pagan for Life screen name, I would never accuse you of being Jewish with a base name like that.
Because they're Jews. That evil focus on the Jews reconfirms for me the divine role of the Jews in history, even though most Jews don't believe it. It doesn't matter. God operates with the Jews, whether Jews want to be operated on or not.
Oh, we're so chosen and divine. Everybody hates. God loves us because everybody hates us so much. It's like arrogant, so arrogant.
Right now, to be a believing Jew right now is to see Jewish history unfold once again, and it's often dark.
See, this is what he's saying. They know what he knows about Edom. He shows for Hobad and Noahide laws. He knows all about the Edom prophecies. Edom is getting very dark. The rising anti-Semitism in Edom with Candace Owens and Jake Shields and Kanye and Nick Fuentes and the who's of people that all parrot all of the Christian controlled op talking points. Oh, it's being very dark and Jewish history is repeating. What happens? It's Purim. They just celebrated Purim. Oh, the Gentiles rise up to destroy them and want to genocide them, but then God intervenes and saves them, and instead they get destroyed. That's the playing out of Jewish history that he's referring to right now.
Be operated on or not. To be a Jew right now, to be a believing Jew right now, is to see Jewish history unfold once again, and it's often dark. I get a great comfort from people like Eric, who's a fighter for me, for the Jews, for America, for Christianity. I get great comfort from the individuals who are good.
Good. Fighting for Jews means good. Good Goyim. Good Goyim, righteous Gentile. You have a share in the world to come. You defend the Jews. Christians are literal Jewish sleeper cell, betrayers of nations.
Hitler was too canny, but he knew that over time we're going to take over the church. And he had a number of really pagan ideologues, bitterly anti-Christian people who were saying that this is where we're moving. Let's not abolish the church. Let's change the church from within and Nazify it over the course of time. And that's why I put all this in the book.
Yeah.
And you're going to get an education if you read it. It's amazing.
Clear away from its altars all crucifixes, Bibles, and pictures of saints.
They're talking about the Nazis that were trying to, what did he say, de-Christianize or Nazify Christianity?
There must be nothing but Mein Kampf.
And then you got all these liars online with more of their Christian disinfo, pretending like the Nazis were all hardcore Christians when they were clearly phasing out Christianity.
Think about this. Now, listen, we have to understand that.
Think about this. When you understand the truth that Germany was leaving, they were leaving the Abrahamic plantation, and what happened? Judeo-Christian Zionist America and Judeo-Christian Zionist England and Judeo-Communist Soviet Union all teamed up and declared war on pagan Germany because they were leaving Christianity. And now these idiot Christians today lie about it and cover it up and pretend like they were hardcore Christians, covering up what the real threat to Judaism is, not being brainwashed by Christianity.
They're the ultimate villains in this book, worse even than Hitler, if you can believe it. They were bitterly anti-Christian. They despised Christianity.
Hold on, Volkish Spirit. We're going to play this whole thing again. This is important. Volkish Spirit's here. He says, they demonstrate the same arrogance and self-worship in all of the World War II era newspapers, saying the Jews are the guardians of all morality, including Christianity, and therefore the Allies should rally to protect it. I mean, isn't it interesting, though, that like all of the Judeo-Christian, Zionist, and communist countries teamed up to destroy Germany and now vilified them more than anybody in history, basically? And what was the real threats? Leaving Christianity and going pagan.
Crucifixes, Bibles, and pictures of saints. On the altars, there must be nothing but Mein Kampf.
Now, think about this. Now, listen, we have to understand that Heydrich and Himmler, they're the ultimate villains in this book, worse even than Hitler, if you can believe it. They were bitterly anti-Christian. They despised Christianity, and they wanted to raise...
Yeah, the guy spamming in the chat that I'm scared to debate some dude that supposedly debunked me. That video is trash. That guy's Jewish and a liar and a controlled op fraud. And I've only got just hours of evidence refuting their nonsense. He's one of the top guys that says the Nazis were all hardcore Christians because of belt buckles that they had before the Nazis even got power. Stop the lying. Stop the gatekeeping. You're not getting us back on the Abrahamic reservation. It's not happening. We know your tricks.
Raise up kind of an occultic neo-pagan religion. That would be the German religion. And of course, one of the tenets of that religion,
the occult satanic pagans,
is hate and kill the Jews. The Jews are the enemy. Germans are, the ultimate. I mean, it's utterly racial. It's diabolical. It's satanic.
When
nothing racial or diabolical about Judaism, though.
The Nazis started burning synagogues. Bonhoeffer referred to these as the burning of God's houses.
Yes. Big leap. Big leap for a German theologian, especially a Lutheran, to say that the Jews are the people of God. Bonhoeffer was really, talk about a prophetic voice.
Yeah, really, and not all Christians agreed with him.
No. In fact, many of his allies in the confessing church didn't agree with him. He went way out on a limb. I mean, this is where, he got this from his father, as I say, to think with great rigorousness, not to just accept what other Christians are saying, but to really think it through biblically, theologically. And his conclusion was that the persecution of the Jews was a persecution of God. The people of God were being persecuted. I mean, it was something I write about this in depth in the book because this hasn't been written much before. I mean, there's been a lot written about Bonhoeffer, but I wanted to put this all in one book because I think a lot of this story is unknown. And it's very, very important understanding who he was, that he was standing up specifically for the Jews because of his Christian faith. It's pretty amazing.
And that's why they just made a whole movie about him from the Zionist...
Hitler was too...
The Zionist movie producer studio. Oh, more Prager?
Well, they only support the...
What do you make of the fact that, at least my sense is that the most devout Christians, evangelical Christians in particular, but the most devout Christians seem to be the most pro-Jewish and pro-Israel.
They did a study, I think it was a Pew study. The more people in America go to church, the more likely they are to be pro-Israel, pro-Jewish, and anti-racist. But somehow all of these LARPing liars online think that's the path forward. Please. They're living in an alternate reality.
I'm sure that's not lost on you. What do you make of it?
Oh, I was the keynote speaker at many CUFI annual events, Christians United for Israel, the largest Christian group. I spoke at Pastor Hagee's church in San Antonio on a number of occasions. I've been to nights to honor Israel at churches around the country. So I know of this, and it's really funny. I was attacked by some lefty. I loved it. It was really awesome. Prager, he's a Christian lover. which is true. I am a Christian lover.
Oh my God, there's nothing they hate more than Christianity, says Dennis Prager, the Christian lover. How much longer are all the Christians online gonna keep avoiding and keep ignoring the numerous, voluminous clips that we have of all these different top Zionists talking about how much they like Christianity?
I'm an American Christian lover. Europe's Christians are a very mixed bag. But no, that's a very important thing, and I make that point to American Jews. Don't saddle America's Christians with the sins of Europe's Christians. That's just, it's ahistorical and it's immoral. So, you know, they only support Israel because it'll hasten Jesus' second coming, which they made this up. These people who know, you know what I do with these people? I say, God, you know so much about Christian theology. I'm really impressed. Name the 4 Gospels. And that ends the discussion. Yeah. They can't. So but that's what they do. They go, oh, the only reason. So by the way, I say to Jews who say this, okay, let's say it's true. The only reason that Christians are supporting Israel and the Jews is to hasten the second coming of Christ. Why are you troubled by that? You don't think he's coming again. That means they'll help us forever.
Wow, listen to that laugh. Why do the Jews not care about Christians? They're not concerned the slightest that Jesus is going to come and cast them into the lake of fire. That's why they laugh at you. They go, you're just going to serve us forever because Jesus is never coming. The Christians, Jesus can't return until the Jews fulfill their prophecies. Third temple, ingathering of the exiles, anointing a Messiah, mark of the beast, and then Jesus will return. Well, that's never happening. So you're just going to get Christians helping Jewish prophecy come to fruition. Listen to this, and they laugh at you. They laugh at how stupid you are that you're trusting the plan. See through it all, love that fine. It's perfect. Drink the Kool-Aid, the mothership is coming, says Equin Sinocha. Interesting name.
Troubled by that. You don't think he's coming again. That means they'll help us forever.
They'll help us forever. That's how they see you. Retarded slaves. And Jesus isn't. Trust the plan. They know Jesus isn't coming. They're the originators of these stories and myths. They're the ones with the secrets and the esoteric understanding of all of this. Must support Israel until Jesus comes back. He's never coming back.
Help me, Jesus! Help me, Jewish God!
Hilarious. They all laugh. Okay, Rabbi Shaul the Pharisee wanted to replace Gentile pagan idol worship with Yahweh Moshiachism. Who could try to dispute that, by the way? You can't. Here's Robin Walsh, a popular top biblical scholar, explaining Paul's mission.
What he says is that
Saul the Pharisee's mission.
He's a Jewish Pharisee. He's speaking to Gentiles, but in his mind, what he says is that he basically thinks he's a prophet. He thinks he's a Jewish prophet who has been designated by the Israelite God to continue in this line of other prophets. And so when he's talking to Gentiles, he's using Greco-Roman philosophy and terms and ideas because he grew up with them. But he never deviates from the idea that he himself is Jewish, Jesus is Jewish, this is a Jewish movement.
Never deviates. It's a Jewish movement. And then these Christians online. And first of all the scholars, 99.99% of all Abrahamics, they all know this without question. And these idiots online are lying to themselves, lying to us, gaslighting that there's nothing Jewish about about Christianity. And they make it like this is our something we came up with. Like it's Adam Green saying that Jesus is Jewish. Nobody else thinks it, but that pagan Adam Green that Jesus is Jewish, and that it was all Jews that started Christianity. The Christians are just pathological liars. They believe a lie.
What he thinks is that
of a religion, And to defend their lie, their false religion, they have to lie. And then we expose that, they double down and lie some more, and then they slander us. It's all they ever do.
His understanding of the origins of the problem that Jesus becomes the solution to is that everybody in the beginning was basically a child or under the Jewish God. But Gentiles deviated. They moved away from the Jewish God. They started worshiping idols. They started worshiping the wrong things. So God designates Abraham as this father to become, this originator of a new generation or generations of a new people who are devoted to the Jewish God. But he also understands.
Oh, and the Christians go, it's not a Jewish God. It's not Jewish. Total denial. No, we're not saying God is Jewish. We're saying you worship the Jewish God. It was only Jews for hundreds of years before Christianity that believed in this God. That's why it's the Jewish God. Jesus, in the Bible, it says Jesus' brother's name is Jude, which literally means Jew. But no, it's not Jewish.
That
please.
Prediction to say that those Gentiles, those people who have deviated, will come back. And in the fullness of time, and at the end of time, there's going to be an event. And this is actually something, this idea of, eons kind of ending. The Stoics have this too. So this is not unique to Judaism, but the idea that there's going to be some kind of end time where a certain number of these Gentiles who, in the beginning sort of deviated away. And that was the reason for Abraham, the reason for these other prophets to continue this kind of course of history. That particular history of human beings is going to end. And Jesus is the marker of the beginning of that, because Jesus, who he often calls Christ Jesus, the anointed one, he, he's crucified.
The Moshiach Jesus, Rabbi Yeshua HaMashiach.
Dies. He's resurrected by God and given God's spirit, or pneuma. And the fact that he's resurrected, death is considered one of the great evils of the world. And so since this, Jewish messianic apocalyptic figure is going to come and wipe out all the evils of the world, including
the Romans and the Gentiles,
what's called, like the archons is the word often used, sort of like the earthly rulers. You might imagine the Roman imperial system being kind of in the bullseye of that. But
you hear the purpose of the Messiah: to conquer the Romans, to conquer Edom. So important.
Imagine the Roman imperial
messianic apocalyptic figure to come and conquer Rome. And what did Jesus do? They made up a myth of this Jewish messianic apocalyptic figure and convinced the Romans to believe in it and fulfilled their prophecies of the Goyim believing in the Jewish God through this mythical midrashic Messiah invented by mystical Jews.
System being kind of in the bullseye of that. But the greatest evil that everyone faces is death. And Jesus defeats death. So that's how, once the resurrected Jesus appears to Paul, he knows that this is the real deal. So the idea of the conversion, he doesn't convert from Judaism to Christianity. He sees the risen Christ and says, I know the Hebrew Bible. I know what's supposed to happen. I know the scriptures. The first great evil has been defeated.
Yeah, come on, Robin. Paul didn't see a risen Christ. Give me a break. That's not what happened. He saw him in the scriptures.
Chosen Christ Jesus to be that figure who's going to usher in this new age. He's the Messiah. And he must have picked me to be the prophet that tells everybody about it, because somebody has to tell the Gentiles, again, the ones who have fallen away, who have to come back.
Do you think she looks Jewish? I don't think she's Jewish. She's got a pig behind her. That's not kosher. She needs to go full green pill. I know. Everybody swoons and simps for her so hard.
Into the fold before the end time. Somebody needs to do that work. Peter and James, they're not going to do it. Right? Like Peter and James make it clear they're carrying on whatever was going on in Jerusalem. So Paul takes that on. So he's going to appeal to these Gentiles, explain to them the significance of Christ, explain to them the predictions in the scriptures, and then try to bring them into the fold.
It's like, he wants to bring him into the fold. Hey, Goyim, look at this Messiah fulfilled all the prophecies. You should all be enslaved, saved, and worship him. hey, pagans, stop worshiping your idols and worship the king of the Jews. And Christians are too dumb to see that this is a psyop. In fact, I have a funny meme for that. Where is it? Here it is. What made you conclude that the Bible is a Jewish psyop? Billions of goyim who worship the king of the Jews. I don't know. That could be an indication. Christ is the fulfillment of Judaism. Every knee must bow. You wouldn't get it, pagan. Your ancestors worship demons. Why do you care about Judaism? I don't worship a Jew. You're a rabbi. These guys worship a Jew. We're out of here.
Of this Jewish movement in order to either A, do so before the end time scenario because he's been tasked with this by God, or B, do so in order to bring about that end time scenario where Jesus will, as I say, come, I think of David Bowie, like the star man's going to come down from the sky. And
that's what Paul Fredrickson, wrote about Paul the Pagan's Apostle on the same topic.
So the Gentiles who get baptized.
She laughs about Jesus coming down in the clouds of heaven with his sword and his robe and the angels, like a comic book superhero.
The Apostle on the same topic.
So the Gentiles who get baptized, who participate in Eucharist, who participate in all of the things that he outlines, are going to share in that spirit, in that pneuma, and they can expect to also resurrect. They can expect to have the same, pneumatic body that Christ got. They can expect to live in that idyllic afterlife scenario that seems to be promised.
She'd make a good Esther.
Messiah coming and basically starting a new world order.
Add that to the Jewish New World Order compilation. Come on, Robin. Listen to that real good, Derek. Did you hear that?
Promise.
The herd cannot resist a pretty face. She'd make a good Esther. I'm curious if she was Christian. I'm pretty sure she's secular now, but I don't know if she used to be a Christian or maybe she was Jewish. I have no idea. I'm not saying she is.
By this idea of a Messiah coming and basically starting a new world order.
Basically like ruling the world. New world order. Messianic New World Order. One Jewish dictatorship, Davidic dictatorship to rule them all. Super Jew. He's just going to return like a super Jew, king over all of the Goyim. Jewish New World Order. Did you hear that, Derek? So if I came on Myth Vision and said, the Jews or the rabbis, they want to have a Jewish Messiah, New World Order. It'd be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's a little anti-Semitic. But Robin Faith Walsh says it. Oh, it's kosher. It's cool.
And so that is the new covenant between God and these Gentiles being brought back in. But the old covenant, quote unquote, the law, that original covenant between God and his people, that's still valid. It's still there. So the Jewish people still have their covenant, but now these Gentiles have a new covenant. And you hear Paul talk about the new covenant quite often.
Oh, so she's claiming that Paul doesn't say that their covenant is over. So it's not replacement theology. It's what is the other term? Subsequent
and
theology?
So you have two kind of mechanisms here for tying two different groups of people to the Jewish God.
To the Jewish God. Tying those, grafting those goyim in to the Jewish God. We got a meme for that. Oh, where is it? It's a little vulgar. Just getting those goyim, just getting grafted into that Jewish God. Oh, come on. Where is it? You guys know the one I'm going to do. Grafted in right here. And of course, I always disavow the happy merchant meme. Very insensitive. Holy Bible, 66 books written all by Jews. And the Christian, the Christ cuck, says, this is what you look like to just the normal white guy. It should be the other way, though. The Christians are getting grafted into the Jews. Jehovah's chosen, grafted in. This is what you look like with like the pagan guy with their Jewish Bible. All right, great clip.
He's a Jewish Pharisee.
He's a Jewish Pharisee getting the goyim to worship the Jewish God, and people still don't get it. Marvel goober fiction. And I just want to be very clear. I'm not saying I don't necessarily think she's Jewish. I'm not saying she's Jewish. The chat asked. I have no idea. If I had to guess, I would say no. I'm curious if she used to be Christian or not, though. So I called out Angelo Lucas Gage on Twitter yesterday. Just ridiculous. This guy's not even a Christian, and he's shilling Christian nationalist shirts. Not just Christian nationalist shirts. He says, just finished making a shirt for you Christian nationalists out there. Hope you like it. Shilling Christian shirts when you're not a Christian is like the griftiest thing I've ever seen. Promoting Jewish prophecies and a Messiah and a Jewish religion in Christianity to fight the Jews is never going to work. But hey, you can't sell shirts to Christians if you tell them their God is fake and Jewish. Although he is on video saying that the God of the Old Testament is Satan, some Gnostic take he had one day. He's also trying to sell Muslim and pagan shirts. He needs to pick a lane. Angel Deus Volt shirts. We have a Christian problem, and this guy is pandering and trying to monetize his Christian followers that he's too scared to offend and tell them the harsh truth that Christianity is fake and Jewish. So he's selling Angel Deus Volt shirts and Christian nationalist shirts and Palestinian Muslim shirts and pagan Valhalla shirts. Pick a lane, dude. This is the Jewiest thing I've ever seen. Trying to sell shirts to all sides. Are you trying to unite everybody against the Jews? Are you trying to unite and monetize as many people as possible? So he inspired me. It's like, if he's going to sell Christian shirts, maybe I should sell a Christian shirt. So I designed a shirt. Hey guys, I made a shirt for all you Christian nationalists out there. Hope you like it. Pick up your Rabbi Yeshua Mashiach shirt. NoMoreNews.org. Would you guys wear that shirt? Rabbi Yeshua HaMashiach. Yeah, we should embolden and empower our Christian government some more. That'll work. Chanting Moshiach is king and Jews killed Jesus and all the rest of the disinfo. That's going to work. How's that Muslim Christian alliance going, by the way? Here's another one, too. A shirt for all... Oh, wait, that's the same one. Here's the other one. Where is it? Christ is King. Here's your Christ is King shirt, Goy. Now available. Christ is King shirt for all the spiritually Jewish sheep out there. Hope you like it. Trust the plan. I know. Might as well be a I'm a Shabbos Goy shirt, huh? You should add is fake. Moshiach is King of the Jews. Pick up your V-neck. Christ is King. Moshiach is King of the Jews shirt. King of who? Oh, King of the Jews. Would you guys wear that? Moshiach is King of the Jews? How about one like this with Jesus, but then it says fake news. Fake news, no more news. Anyway, so thanks for the inspiration. Taking a page out of the Lucas Gage book. Thank you, Lucas, for the inspiration. Maybe I should sell some shirts to the Christian nationalists as well. Not a bad idea. Fake and gay. Yeah. Picture of Jesus, say fake and gay. A nice two-pack. Tupac, yeah. You guys are going to buy both of these? Only if I was around. He said fake news, no more news. Oh, make one that says I'm only circumcised at the heart. Yeah, one that says my heart is circumcised. That could be good. Or my boss is a Jewish carpenter. That's an actual bumper sticker I've seen. Shabbos Goy shirts. Yeah, my boss is a Jewish carpenter. Make Jesus great again. Caps in green color. Only I circumcises my heart make it. Okay. Yeshua shirts. This Evan Williams says, "Sweet Jesus, do they ship to Israel?" Gnostic Informant says, "It's shipped from Israel. Made in Israel, Yeshua HaMashiach shirts. Get them now at nomorenews.org. Get in touch with your Jewish roots, goy." All right, that was fun. Now, see through it all's new mix. Maybe not too new, March 9th. But we're getting to it now. Jewish conspiracy against Europe. You know, I had some anon pathological lying and coping Christians. One of the things they'll say is, Adam's Jewish because he posts rabbis. It's like, so you mean one of the top people of all history exposing rabbis with these compilations that have woken up millions to what rabbis believe? That's your big own on me, as I expose rabbis? Or then I'll see stuff, Christians coping, and we'll say, Adam only criticizes Christians. He should focus on Jews. He doesn't even criticize Jews and Judaism, only Christians. Number one, Christianity is a branch of Judaism. Most Zionists on earth are Christian. Christians won't even condemn the Torah and worship the Jewish God. And we play clips of Christians all the time. Christians are in these mixes. We do whole compilations just of the Christians, even the Christians you guys think are based, and show how kosher they are. Yeah, the See Through It All clips are everywhere. We're exposing rabbis more than anybody, and what do the Christians say? Is, you're Jewish because you post rabbi clips? Exposing rabbis means we're Jewish now? The Christians can't, they're just so foolish. The way they lie, the 12 minutes of kosher Jay Dyer clips, no response. We play clips of Christians all the time. We expose Christians, Jews, and spiritual Jews all the time, and they say, you don't criticize Judaism. Literally, I'm the top people on the planet, one of the top people on the planet exposing Judaism, and that's the best they can say. It's pathetic.
The idea of Messiah is uniquely Jewish. There's not like anybody else, no other religion that believed in the Messiah 2,000 years ago. Only the Jews did.
Our job isn't to get more, you're supposed to be a light unto the nations, but we don't have this concept of trying to convince people to become Jewish. No, you have your role as being a non-Jew, and we have a role as being a Jew.
No, Christians believe that our Tanakh is the Word of God. Christians believe that our Hebrew Bible was conveyed to prophets in the sacred, in Lashon Kodesh, in the sacred tongue, in Hebrew. You talked about how we don't try to convert non-Jews to Judaism. Christianity is a triumphalist religion that seeks to convert the world. Christianity swept through Europe overnight. Europe became Christian. The Jews have a reputation of being fairly clever. It's the most Jewish thing you can do. After all, Jesus was a Jew. All the disciples were Jewish. How could it not be Jewish and believe in Jesus?
I think that there's a concept called being a light unto the nations. And when the Torah talks about us being a light unto the nations, we are not allowed to convert. We're not allowed to proselytize. We're not allowed to convert. We're just allowed to be ourselves. When we speak about proselytization, we are allowed to proselytize to the nation the 7 laws of Noah. We are allowed to do that. What we aren't allowed to do is preach conversion. That we can't.
Right. There was a problem that you need nations worship the God of Israel, but not have them convert to Judaism. So that's why another religion was created.
So it says like this: you cannot force the goyim to accept all the mitzvot of the Torah or to convert. The other way around, they have to convince them to stay goyim. But the 7 laws they have to keep. So the Rambam says to force all the people of the world, the goyim, to accept the Sheva mitzvot b'nei Noach. When we come in contact with them, if they're worshiping an idol, it bothers Hashem. That's why he makes them rules. It does bother him. That's why he made the goyim rules.
Their prophecies all along would be erase pagan worship and have the whole world worship the God of Israel, Yahweh. And how did they accomplish this? Very clearly through Christianity and Islam.
Who was Paul? Was a Jewish man, Pharisee. He was a Pharisee. So my faith, according, who wrote the Bibles? All of them were Jews. I gave my witness that right now I put my trust to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob through the gate, one gate. His name is Yeshua. Is it hard to hear that some Gentiles say that I believe in God of Israel through Jesus?
Yes, I want more for you. I'm not a bigot.
I don't think you're a second. You're not a dog.
You didn't invite
You
me.
asked me a question. It's a fair question. When I see a dog drinking from a toilet, I go, "That's a dog." You're not a dog. You're creating the image of God. You can do better than Jesus. You can come to the God of Israel. You understand that for me to say as a Gentile, Jesus is good enough for you, that's the bigotry of low expectations. You can do better. And we're crying out to you, say, do better than that. So there are many people who say that I want to join the Jewish faith. I want the Jewish faith, but I'm not joining the Jewish nation. We call them B'nai Noach. They keep what's called the 7 Noachide laws, and these are what are called the Chasidei Umus Olam. These are the pious of the nations of the world who are sure a place in the world to come. So many, when I say many, it's very large numbers. I don't know, it's huge. So thank God I've been able to help just very large number of Jews out of the church, but also huge numbers of Christians become B'nai Noach, and many of them follow up on that and convert to Judaism. So like once I'm sprinkling our lawn, the water is going to go on to everyone.
See, they don't want Christian deception being exposed. They want it just being transitioned into Noahide compliant, and then the Christian anti-Semites to be made an example of, and to be destroyed and have the vengeance brought upon them. That's the plan. Zorn Der Edom says, Adam, it is hard to take anyone seriously anymore who hasn't been green-pilled. Tired of the hypocritical Christ-cuck Jew haters. Thanks for forging ahead. I know, it's just like looking at the Jewish paradigm from outside and seeing both sides fighting over who the Jewish Messiah is. It's like you can't even talk to these people. It's like they're just totally in the matrix. If you've taken the green pill and really escaped the matrix, it's hard to listen to blue pillars. Christians are the ultimate blue-pilled people, right?
And there is a revolution going on in this country. You can't get into a conversion program in Israel. I mean, it's very difficult to get. They're packed. You can't.
The amount of people that reach out for this show that are Gerim or in the process, it's overwhelming. I'm like,
ABX says, publish a meme compilation. I thought about doing that. Just put like a thread of all the best Christian memes. Tell everybody to save them and post these at all times.
Can't interview every Garrett, but
Good
they're
idea.
so inspired. And
who are they, Tattoo? We never had this conversation. They're not former Hindus. 99% are former Christians.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
99% of Noahides are former Christians. Why? Because Christianity is almost perfect Noahide. That was the stepping stone to take Gentiles from paganism to Noahidism.
99% are not only former Christians, but they're not former Episcopalians, they're former Baptists. All the conversion programs in Israel and all the Noachide programs in Israel, you can't even get in. They're coming in from Korea, from the Far East. They're coming from all over the world. They're banging at the doors to get in. They want to be Noach or they want to convert. That's what's happening. I'm talking about the hundreds of thousands. So this is a plan of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Soon, we will see the nations of the world coming to the God of Israel. Bending.
I love how Tovia Singer says, this is the plan. This is the plan to convert all the Christians to be Noahides, our servants. Esau serves Jacob. And then influencers will do videos saying, I'm a conspiracy theorist, that there's a Noahide law plan. And that's just an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory.
To him, praising him, and may we merit it.
While promoting Tovia Singer, they'll say, I'm a conspiracy theorist, that there's a Noahide law agenda. Lawful Pencil for 5. That's a new name. Good to see you here, Lawful Pencil. Says, hey, I was on the recent space with Primordial Chaos. Very good job by him. Please do more. He sent me that. I shared it, but I wasn't able to join, and I haven't heard it. But Primordial's my boy, so I'm sure it was base. Chem Suicide for 25 says, I imagine after all this time you are out of patience. Oh, yeah. But maybe preface it by saying that you are trying to show them how they are getting played and not attacking their kind. Yes, I'm not attacking Christians. I'm trying to liberate Christians from Jewish mythology. I'm trying to save Christians from falling for Jewish tricks. I'm trying to free you from the chains and the shackles of Yahweh and his chosen people. And I'm trying to tell Christians to get off their knees and stop worshiping a mythical Jewish king. Immortal Al says, did I hear about Zerka supposedly working with Ye for the rest of 2025? I saw that. I don't know if he's being serious. He very likely could be, but he also could be joking. But now I'm just one step away from Kanye. Maybe the Kanye green pill arc is next. Zerka might be coming around. You never know.
Extraordinary moment quickly in our time. The blasphemy and idolatry of Christianity will come to an end. The church will come to an end. There will be no, let me be very clear, there'll be no other religion in the world except for the faith that is called Judaism, meaning the worship of the one God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Just Judaism supremacy is what this guy wants.
All the nations.
And all of like the anti-religion channels will bring him on to only debunk Christianity and never point out Judaism's role and how Christianity served its role for Judaism. It's so sinister.
Know the truth about them. Who is the implacable enemy of the Jewish people? Edom, Esav, Christendom, Rome. Edom has to be finished. That's the last of the kingdoms. That brings in Mashiach. The enemies of God. Rome. We have whole books in Tanakh, entire Sfarim in our holy scriptures that are devoted to describing.
Sorry, Chem Suicide. I didn't finish. I didn't finish your whole super chat there. You said, I imagine after all this time you're out of patience, but maybe preface it by saying that you were trying to show them how they are getting played and are not attacking their kind. Mostly kind type gullible Christians. Tell them you can't see the truth of the JQ until you see the truth of the Abrahamic paradigm. Yeah, we are winning lots of people over, people that are already having questions or are on the fence. Some people are a lost cause. And, but yeah, no, I just tweeted that the other day. Like, I'm not attacking Christians. I'm trying to save everybody from Jewish lies, from a Jewish hoax.
That's the last of the kingdoms.
But it's easier to fool people than convince them they've been fooled, as the famous saying goes.
That brings in Mashiach. The enemies of God. Rome. We have whole books in Tanakh, entire Sfarim in our holy scriptures that are devoted to describing the destruction of Edom. Edom is an implacable enemy of the children of Israel. That's the fourth kingdom. There are four kingdoms that are enemies of God and subjugated the Jewish people. We know about Babylon, Persia, Greece. He lived under all three of those, but then there's Rome. The fourth Edom, the worst of all, Edom is Esau. And in fact, we have entire books in the Bible devoted to telling us about the destruction of this morphic nation that would subjugate our people, the nation of Israel. So the four kingdoms represented by the lion, by the bear, by the leopard, four heads, that's Greece, of course, and then finally the last kingdom with the 10 horns and the little horn. When Hashem says that finally at the end, this will be destroyed, Edom is going to be destroyed. In fact, there's no resuscitation or rebuilding Rome. Edom must be destroyed. Edom, and then Rome. And then that's destroyed. In its place, there'll be a kingdom that will reign forever.
So meanwhile, the kingdom Moshiach will reign forever. And Judaism will be the one world religion. And you'll all be Noahide slaves or you'll be destroyed. And then we got Trump earlier in the stream says, Islam hates us, but Jews are our greatest allies. I can't believe they're able to get away with this total fucking lie like that.
Mashiach will come. When Mashiach comes, the whole world will know the truth. And there'll be only one king, and that's Hashem. How do I know it? Because the God of Israel tells me. In that day, God will be king of the whole world. Now, we want everyone in Edom to repent, to do tshuva, of course, that's what we want. But then there'll be God will set up a kingdom that will never be destroyed.
Like the music.
This is the kingdom that will endure forever. At the end of days, nations will come up against Eretz Yisrael, against the nation of Israel. They will be destroyed. Edom personifies that nation. Rome is that nation. Just know that. In Tanakh, it's very clear. We have whole books on the destruction of Edom. Edom destroyed. That's what Mashiach is supposed to be, destroy Edom. It's all over Tanakh. These are just enemies of the Jewish people.
Moshiach is to destroy Edom. It's all over Tanakh. What would give the Jews the inspiration to invent a Messiah to conquer Rome? They would never do that. They would never do theological warfare. They would never run a deception on the Goyim. They would never set up a controlled opposition deception religion. They would never do that. Of course not. What do you believe, rabbis? Well, Rabbi James, Rabbi John, Rabbi Shaul, Rabbi Kephas.
It's explicit that nations will come up against Jerusalem and they will all be destroyed. Go up against the Jewish people and they will all, hopefully they'll repent, but if not, they'll be destroyed.
It says here that the Kadosh Baruch Hu will rise and will destroy completely the city of Edom and will completely uproot them.
There will be two world superpowers left in the end of days. Malchut Edom, which includes all of America, Europe, and some of the Western Quarter, and Malchut Ishmael and or Paras, which is the entire Middle East and part of the Eastern Quarter. And who will be the last standing kingdom? The Balaturin says it's going to be Malchut Ishmael / Paras. Rabbi Eliezer ben Horkonus, alav shalom, in his Sefer Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer says it's going to be Malchut Paras / Ishmael. The Ben Ishai alav shalom concludes that it's going to be Ishmael. Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yehuda Nasi in the Gemara say it's going to be Ishmael. Rabbi Ovadia Yosef alav shalom determined through all of his research that it's going to be Ishmael. And the Posek, the Acharon from the world of Ashkenaz, who recently and sadly passed away, Rav Chaim Kanievsky, concluded that indeed it will be Malchut Ishmael that will stand last. What kingdom does Russia belong to according to the Gaon of Vilna? The Gaon of Vilna writes that Russia belongs to Malchut Paras. He identifies Russia as Malchut Paras, which we know is synonymous with Ishmael. So the Gaon's Shita, his view is that the last standing nation in the end of days will be Russia and any other country associated with Malchut Paras and Ishmael, because they are one and the same. We're down to the last two characters in the story, Edom and Ishmael. It's going to be east versus west. One of them will remain standing. The other will be completely destroyed. The question is, which kingdom, which Malchut will be the last one standing? Ishmael or Edom? Rabbi, known as Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, alav shalom, concludes that Ishmael is going to wipe out Edom, and then will be the last nation standing prior to Mashiach's arrival.
So this is their plan. We've got so many clips of different rabbis saying this is the plan. Gog and Magog, Edom's destroyed in the war with Iran, Russia, and China. And as we started the show today, Trump's like, we're on the verge. Trump's making bigger threats and promises and says if Iran assassinates him, to obliterate them and stuff. Apparently Trump has a death wish. This is their plan. There's no disputing that, and we're right on the cusp of it all happening with Zion Dawn and the Third Temple obsessed Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Defense.
The last standing nation before Mashiach comes will be Ishmael. That's what Rav Chaim writes. And according to the Chad Gadya revelation, they're the ones who are going to destroy and wipe out Malchut Edom. Pick yourselves up and get out, because Edom will be completely destroyed. Why are you staying there? That area is full of goyim anyway, and you're surrounded by whom? The Tumah of Esav. You must come to Eretz Yisrael, because very soon things are going to explode all over Malchut Edom, all over America, and people won't be able to even sell their houses for $1.
Oh, you see, the economy is going to collapse. There's going to be a rug pull of the financial system, and all the Jews better go to Israel before Edom is destroyed. You see, that's what Prager is referring to, except he just doesn't say it as explicitly as she does.
Start packing your bags and make your way to Eretz Yisrael.
This is written over 2,000 years ago. And in the future, the sons of Ishmael are future to arouse huge wars all over the world. Now it's going to happen. They're going to go against the entire world, the sons of Edom. And they're going to go and gather war against the rest of the world. The sons of Edom, these are the Christians. So all the Muslims, this is a prophecy from over 2,000 years ago. The Muslims are going to go and they're going to infect the rest of the world. Everywhere they're going to go, they're going to cause havoc, they're going to cause riots, they're going to cause wars, and they're going to go against the land of Edom, the nation of Edom, which in our generation, this is the Christians it's talking about. And then what? They will gather themselves and go to war against everybody. And now they're going to cause a lot of wars with everything they just run into. They're going to cause wars with. And in that time, it's referring to now, to our time, one nation will wake up. From the other side of the world. And you know what he's going to go against? Al-Romi Chayava. He's going to go and attack Romi. Romi is the United States. And this nation, from the end of the world. Where is the nation in the end of the world that are going against Romi? When Mashiach is about to come. A nation will wake up from the other side of the world. They're not going to come against us. They're going to go against Romi. Al-Romi Chayava. They're going to go against the land of Romi, which we know, when you give many times sources, Romi is the United States. And he's going to go and wage war against the Romi. A huge war. 3 months the war will take. Now what's going to happen? Many nations are going to come to this war. And the nation of Romi will fall into their hands. I mean, America is strong, but not when they're going against 3-4 armies. The sons of Ishmael are going to go and cause havoc around the world. So France is completely barbecued. England is next. Now half of Europe is completely half dead. Now look what's going on in America. So, you know, now in a country near you. So this is and a lot of people say, oh, but in Israel it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous. So this is the only place that nothing's going to happen. Everywhere else is going to happen because the war is going to be all over the place. People think the war is going to be against us. You know what's going to happen? We're just going to sit like the Israelis, you know, lefatech garinim. How do you call it in English? They're cracking the sunflower seeds, you know, and looking from the side and looking what's going on, like ping pong, ding, ding, ding. And people think that Israel is not safe. Israel is the most safest place. Nothing's going to happen here.
Nice job, see through it all. I think we got one of John's now too. Engineers of the Migrant Crisis. John Garatis, you still in the chat? I know you had the $5 5 shekel challenge earlier. Engineers of the Migrant Crisis. This was your most popular viral compilation ever, and you're re-uploading because it was banned from Twitter. Oh, this is the one that Kim.com shared, huh? And Dr. Lupus. Of course they took that one down.
And the 30s.
Of course, all the big accounts will share the clips like this that don't expose Christianity as a lie, but all the clips that show Christianity as a Jewish deception, they will never share those. We'll show you what the rabbis actually say and what they actually believe, and then you liars will say, we believe the rabbis. No, you believe rabbis, you believe the Hebrew Torah, you worship the Jewish God. We're just telling you what the rabbis actually say and believe. And they don't want to know. They want to bury their head in the sand. They want to ignore it, and they're actively suppressing it and are accomplices in the conspiracy by not exposing it. It's disgraceful.
We know our Torah. And the 36 times it commands us to care for the stranger, the most frequently repeated mitzvah in our tradition. Because today, welcoming the stranger means welcoming the 76,000 Afghani citizens who were airlifted and brought to the U.S. in a matter of weeks last August, the largest military evacuation of refugees in history.
Well, look, Europe is being tested as it has not been tested since the Second World War. Angela Merkel is entirely right here. The European Union was created as a kind of way of saying we recognize human rights after the catastrophe of 2 world wars and the Holocaust. And it's very chilling to see some of these scenarios being reenacted. I don't want to make a direct comparison, but now is the time for humanitarian compassion to triumph.
We cannot.
Hey, X-Men, enough of the disinfo Christ conspiracy shit. Titus and Josephus did not invent Christianity. We're not gonna allow that Rome, Edom, Esau scapegoating happening here. Seems like it worked. It did work. We always say they really did a number on the Goyim. Most successful psyop of all time. Clearly it worked.
Regard the human tragedy unfolding on our borders, the horrific conditions to which migrant families seeking better lives for their children have been subjected, with anything less than moral fury. And now we are informed that Sunday, Immigration and Customs Enforcement will undertake additional efforts in cities around the country, including New York, to pursue the undocumented. Our sacred narratives and historic experiences call upon us to respond.
In America today, we have white supremacy. In the Torah, we had Amalek. Amalek is seen as the eternal enemy of our people, whose members found strength by making us suffer. Therefore, when the Lord your God grants you safety from all your enemies around you, and the land that the Lord your God is giving to you as a hereditary portion, you shall blot out the memory of Amalek from under heaven. Do not forget. Blotting out Amalek need not merely be about military conquest. Equally important is ideological victory. And nothing could more readily counter white supremacy than a Jewish community proudly helping our Muslim neighbors. There is nothing that undermines a white supremacist worldview more and diverse communities getting along and building together towards the future.
Last week, HIAS organized a letter signed by over 1,200 rabbis. Can you imagine getting 1,200 rabbis to agree on one thing? But agree they did, and what they agreed was to ask our elected officials not to halt or even to limit the United States Refugee Admissions Program.
It's written, Hashem said to Abraham, everyone will bless your children, automatically will be blessed by me. And everyone who will curse them or give them a hard time, automatically will be cursed by me. And you can see all these nations, all these anti-Semite nations. They are all being destroyed as we speak. All the European anti-Semites, Hashem sent them cancer to their countries, the Arabs. That's their cancer. They're taking over their countries, they're occupying the streets, they intimidate them, they destroy them, there's crime, they rob them, they're violent, they block the streets, and they force their culture on them, and they're taking away Paris, London, all these places. You can see there's riots in London for months already. They killed some girls there, I don't know exactly the story. This is their punishment. They came and killed the Jews that were in Europe. Hashem said, no problem, I'm going to give you something a lot better than the Jews that you killed. I'm going to send you the children of Ishmael. You will have a taste.
Le Mashiach viendra que quand Edom, l'Europe, la chrétienté sera totalement tombée. Donc je vous pose la question, c'est une bonne nouvelle que l'islam envahisse l'Europe? C'est une excellente nouvelle, ça annonce la venue de Mashiach. Excellente nouvelle.
What's going to be with the Goyim when Mashiach comes? Will they be destroyed and annihilated? Or the Goyim? Or will they... Someone asked me here. Okay. You can't really argue that the Goyim are going to be annihilated. That's not really an option for all the Nevuos, all the prophecies. And not only Goyim as individuals, you could say that we broke down their nationalities and there are a whole bunch of Yechidim running around. No, as nations even. As Goyim, they're gone. Their personality, they're as they exist b'fnei atzmam, as they would exist independently of Klal Yisrael, they don't exist. They're done. In modern terminology, they call it cultural genocide.
It's the end of days. You're going to need the iron of Esav, which represents Edom, which is the West, Europe, and the Americas, to get intermixed with Ishmael, which is basically Arabs and Muslims. How in the world was this ever going to happen if not for this refugee crisis? At the end of days, you're going to have this intermixing between Esav, Edom, which is the West, and the East, which is the Muslims and the Arabs, making this through this influx into the world. And they're going to have children, I don't want to say by the dozens, but they're going to have a far larger birth rate than the indigenous people there, and they're going to sort of conquer by number.
I think there's a resurgence of anti-Semitism because at this point in time, Europe has not yet learned how to be.
Look at this. Kanye just posted that he's hanging out with Nick Fuentes again.
Yo, I'm here with my white supremacist homeboy, Nick. We back. Yo, I'm here with my white supremacist homeboy, Nick.
So look at his necklace too. Dude, this is just going to be... All this is going to do is serve as the pretext for hundreds of headline articles and all of the anti-Semitism kvetchers to say, look, the Nazis are taking over, evil white supremacist Edom America, and the Christian anti-Semites. That's all that this is going to do. Trust me. You'll see. You'll see how this ages. This spells Jewish fed up. I know. Let's wait and see.
Multicultural, and I think we're going to be part of the throes of that transformation, which must take place. Europe is not going to be the monolithic societies that they once were in the last century. Jews are going to be at the center of that. It's a huge transformation for Europe to make. They are now going into a multicultural mode, and Jews will be resented because of our leading role. But without that leading role and without that transformation, Europe will not survive.
The idea of having these refugees come into Europe, it's no longer a matter of whether it's right or wrong. It's just simply a fulfillment of what it was meant to be all along. This is the fulfillment of the Chazal and the prophecies. This has to happen, and this is just another sign that we are nearing, the completion of this tikkun of the entire world.
Good job, John. All the best clips there. No wonder they censored that one. No, of course, yeah, you can't play a bunch of clips of rabbis and exposing rabbis. You get censored. And then the Christians claim you believe the rabbis and you don't criticize Judaism and Jews. Ridiculous. All right, I saw something else too. Kanye posted this. He says, 2 of my favorite people with Milo. Apparently Milo's been trending the last few days. He lost his cat or something. It's a big deal. This was in he's reposting from 2022. All right, well, that's going to be I'm sure that's going to be some content for us to cover. These guys and their cartoonish, controlled op Christian talking points. Nick looks like a little dork in his hoodie. Yeah. All right. Almost at 2 hours. Huge show. Everybody make sure to pick up your Rabbi Yeshua, Moshiach is King, Rabbi Yeshua HaMashiach shirts at nomorenews.org. It's a joke. Not actually selling these shirts, but you can get the Trump They Live or the Viking Runes red shirt. No More News. It's right at the top, nomorenews.org. You can go. There's a few more left. And I'm working on the next order. Serious shirts. Here's a possibility. Viking Owl. It's one of the ones I've been working on. You guys want to see another one? Let's see. Where's the other one? How about this one? And where's the other one? I like this one. Dr. Seuss style. So I'm going to work on a few more, and then I'll ask you guys which ones you think are the best, and I'll do another run. Maybe we'll have to do a Jesus fake news or something. A wolf. Yeah, I was working on some wolf shirts as well. Wolf design. Anyway, let's see here. Who gave that huge dono? ABX89, thank you for the tribute. Pagan for Life, Chem Suicide, John Garatis, See Through It All, of course. Pure Blood, answering the $5 I'm Not Jewish challenge. Immortal Al, Chem Suicide, Zorn Der Edom. Garrett Masterpiece McCluskey says Prager doesn't want us committing Jewicide. Garrett Masterpiece McCluskey says, Jesus destroyed genetics, yet somehow 2,000 years later, the IQ gap persists, right? Dominic Buscemi. And I got a big one over on Rumble, too. Who gave me the big one on Rumble? Alchematron with the big dono on Rumble. Appreciate you so much. Thank you for making this stream possible. Yep, I got him. I did not forget that one. So get your shirts before they're gone. Let me know what you think in the comments. Share the link. Share the clips. And I will see you guys again tomorrow. Everybody have a nice night and take care. Hail the old gods. Down with Yahweh. Friends don't let friends worship Jewish myths. We're not attacking the Christians. We're trying to free the Christians. We're trying to save the Christian. Operation Save the Christians. That's our goal here. Bullying works on some, but we'll play with kid gloves too. Sounds good. Need more Amalek. I'll be the good cop. You be the bad cop. We'll try all approaches. Yo, Watch the Collapse says, love you, man. Hope you get this chat in time. Green pilled a new guy yesterday. He was very receptive. It was a green pill microdose. Can I pre-order a book? No, but at some point you will be able to pre-order. Christians don't take the green pill, we'll just feed them to the lions. Good call.